Good evening. Thanks very much to you at home for staying with us tonight. We have a very big Friday night show ahead, including Senator Claire McCaskill joining us. Very excited for that. But where we begin tonight is in Tiny Town, USA. Tiny Town, USA is a very, very tiny town. It's a very close-knit community, Tiny Town. And in Tiny Town, essentially there is one donut shop. We've decided to call it Ye Olde Donut Shop. Right next door to Ye Olde Donut Shop is Ye Olde Tiny Town Swimming Pool. That's basically all of Tiny Town. That's it. So it's Tiny Town. It's the donut shop and the swimming pool and then the main drag. This is the main drag here. Across the street from both of these institutions is where, the mean old man in town lives, right? This is his house. He's across the street from the donut shop and the swimming pool. This is the mean old man. You can tell he's mean because of his menacing facial hair or something. I don't know. One day, the mean old man notices that when the delivery truck arrives to drop off the swimming pool chemicals for Ye Olde Swimming Pool, when the delivery truck arrives for the swimming pool, you know, it's like chlorine and all that stuff, that delivery comes at the same time that the delivery arrives for the donut shop. And it's like the flour and the sugar and the non-dairy creamer. It's all of the other dry goods supplies for Ye Olde Donut Shop. So, mean old man in town, in Tiny Town, spies with his little eyes from across the street. He sees that there is a screw-up in the delivery. The delivery men are like talking to each other and they're hanging out. They're not really paying any attention. And they essentially screw up what they're doing. The mean old man notices that a powder that gets delivered to the donut shop that looks very much like non-dairy creamer is actually the chlorine that was supposed to get delivered next door to the pool. They look just alike. But the mean old man sees it happen. He knows that what looks like the non-dairy creamer at the donut shop actually is chlorine. And he gets a mean old man idea. The mean old man goes over to the donut shop, goes over to talk to the donut shop owner, and he says, "Donut shop owner, do I have something to tell you? You know that non-dairy creamer that you just got delivered to your donut shop this morning that you're putting in all of the dispensers right now so people can put it in their coffee? That's actually chlorine. It's not non-dairy creamer. That could, kill people." And the donut shop owner says, "Oh, man, thanks, mean old man. Thanks for telling me." And the mean old man says, "You know, I have an idea. I'll tell you what. I just went out and bought life insurance policies on all of your regulars. I'll give you $25 if you just serve that." And the donut shop owner pauses and thinks about it and says, "Make it 30 and you've got a deal." Today, the owner of Ye Olde Donut Shop got busted by the SEC. The donut shop in this little scenario is the Wall Street giant Goldman Sachs, allegedly serving up financially lethal products to their customers at the behest of somebody who was paying them on the side to do so. The mean old man in this scenario is a guy named John Paulson, and while he has to function as a mean old man in our metaphor, he's actually not the guy who did the illegal thing for which he got busted today. Paulson is a hedge fund manager, and he bets that certain things will fail. In this case, the Securities and Exchange Commission says that Paulson made bets that certain financial instruments based on home loans would fail. He picked out ones that were really, 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 really likely to fail. Then he paid Goldman to market them. Okay? Goldman secretly knew that they were designed to fail, but Goldman didn't sell them that way. Their clients lost $1 billion investing in these things. Mr. Paulson made $1 billion because he bet they'd fail. Now, Goldman Sachs denies any wrongdoing here, but because what they've been accused of is so egregious, and because it's the previously untouchable lords of Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, this changes all of the politics around whether or not we're going to reform Wall Street. So metaphorical mean old men and duplicitous donut shop owners don't get to live in an essentially unregulated universe anymore. While we were talking about the Goldman Sachs news at our show's news meeting this afternoon, two things arrived in my email inbox, one right after the other. These two headlines were adjacent in my inbox. One was a Reuters News columnist, John Kemp, asserting that, quote, "It is now virtually certain financial reform legislation will go sailing through the Senate. In the current environment, no one in Washington, certainly not the 41 Republican senators who would all be needed to block the bill's progress, will want to go on record defending the big banks." Then right next to that in my inbox, moments later, later, pops up this headline from Talking Points memo. Quote, all 41 Senate Republicans oppose financial reform bill. They said it couldn't be done. Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine was supposedly holding out on this, but she has now signed on to Republicans saying no to Wall Street reform, and saying it on the day that Goldman Sachs gets accused of fraud by the SEC. Republican Senator Scott Brown of Massachusetts, who has joined with Democrats on a few things like jobs bills. He is not only opposing this Wall Street reform bill, but he's sort of obviously not even really understanding why he's opposing it. Mr. Brown this week actually asked a reporter why he's supposed to be against the bill. Quoting from the Boston Globe, quote, when asked what areas of the bill he thought should be fixed, Senator Brown replied, well, what areas do you think should be fixed? I mean, you know, tell me, and then I'll get a team and go fix it. To be clear, Senator Brown was talking to a reporter who was asking him questions about his stance. Senator Brown's response was to ask the reporter to tell him what the reporter thought was wrong with the bill, so Scott Brown could call a team meeting about it or something. But reasons be darned. Republicans today announced that they are standing in unified opposition to Wall Street reform. We all live in tiny town now. Don't use the non-dairy creamer. Joining us now is Eugene Robinson, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist and associate editor for The Washington Post and an MSNBC political analyst. Gene, thank you for bearing with me through that murderous analogy.
It was pretty gruesome, and I'm going to be really, really careful the next time I go into ye olde donut shop and have the coffee. Maybe I'll just have, you know, just a nice mineral water. Who knows what that would be?
That was foreshadowing. Like, who wants to go into an oldie donut shoppy anyway? So that was sort of the foreboding music at the beginning.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So Republicans announced their unified opposition to Wall Street reform on the same day we find out about this Goldman Sachs fraud case. Is this just bad timing? Do they have a special spin here that I don't understand yet? Do you know what's going on?
No, this is bizarre timing. It would seem, both on the surface and I think underneath, that this makes no sense. That this is ridiculous timing, and I don't think there's really a spin you can put on this. This is not the day when you want to kind of raise your hand and say, "Yay, big banks! Yay, Goldman Sachs! Yay, mean old man or hedge fund guy." You don't. That's not the side you want to be on. And you know, all these Wall Street deals, transactions are complicated, but this one actually you can explain. You can use the analogy. You can just kind of walk through it. It's understandable, and it's so egregious that I can't believe the Republicans aren't going to have to get on board something, and in a hurry.
Right when the health reform bill looked dead a few months ago, remember Anthem Blue Cross announced that they were hiking their rates 39% in California, and it breathed all this new life back into health reform just because it changed the politics. I mean, the Goldman Sachs fraud case, it puts sort of an exclamation point on the political image of the big banks and the big Wall Street firms here. But do you think it really is going to change the politics here, or were they already bad enough guys that the politics sort of stay the same?
No, I think this changes the politics. The one thing we hadn't seen was, the government, the SEC, actually filing charges against one of the big banks, and indeed an individual in one of the big banks. They also charged the individual who calls himself in emails Fabulous Fab. His first name is Fabrice, who engineered this whole transaction, and it puts a face on the scandal. Goldman is made out so well in the final analysis. That looked fishy in the first place, that they made out so well as the whole economy was collapsing. And I think people have to say, aha, maybe this is why. And I think it does change the politics materially.
Seeing all these headlines today about Goldman Sachs was also sort of a reminder that, oh yeah, we have an SEC that's supposed to police this stuff. And I know that in the first year of the Obama administration, the SEC opened like twice as many investigations as they did in 2008 under under Bush. And I wonder, too, if this is, it's not just that there's a bad guy here, but this is a reminder that regulation is for something. This might be sort of another teachable moment about why we have regulations, why red tape isn't always the enemy. Do you expect Democrats to take that line?
I think they do. I expect them to say this is why we have regulation. I expect them to say this is why we need to regulate derivatives. I expect that the SEC is probably looking under other rocks as well. It takes some time to go through, all these transactions, this nominal, $600 trillion or whatever dollar nominal market in derivatives that there is out there, and so you have to wonder how many other transactions kind of looked like this and whether maybe other shoes will drop.
Eugene